the first thing was your description of physics as interested in getting at the deepest, most abstract explanations of reality. And I think the reason that that jumped out at me is that would be an equally apt description of what a philosopher is interested in
Mhm.
doing. And I know that you're good friends with a mutual friend of ours, Sean Carroll, who works very much both on philosophy and physics, and you've enjoyed some of my conversations with Tim Maudlin
Mhm.
and David Albert. And it just made me want to ask how philosophy is part of your work on these questions as well.
Yeah, so I'm not formally trained in philosophy, although now I wish I were. um, so, but I think that the way that it informs my work is pretty profound because most of what I do professionally is trying to look at this problem, the origin of life, through a new lens because my perspective on it has been that we don't have the physics to solve this problem. And so then that makes you ask what is traditionally thought of as a philosophical question, like what are our laws of physics as we understand them now about, and what can they adequately explain and not explain, and what are the boundaries of that, and what other explanation is necessary. So in some sense, I actually start more from philosophy and then I try to build toward new physics than going the other way around because a lot of it is just asking questions about the fundamental nature of explanation and what would an explanation for the origin of life look like? And when you ask that question, I think most people think that's a philosophical question, not a scientific question. And most people think the question, what is life, is a philosophical question, not a scientific question. So a lot of the work that I do is actually kind of on the boundary of both, I suppose. So I'm becoming increasingly philosophical in my work and my writing because I think it's necessary to actually ask this question, and even it's necessary to do the science to ask, like for this question. So it's not like it's a separate enterprise. It's just this is just the way it is. And I guess that goes back to the question about these boundaries between disciplines because I don't really see a sharp boundary in nature between biology, chemistry, and physics. Those are just humans are trained to specialize in a particular area of study. And the same with philosophy. I think philosophy underlies all of it. um, and if you want to push the boundaries of how we understand the world, you're almost automatically having to do some philosophy. But I think that part's really fun.
Right. And Tim or David would agree with you, I think, entirely that the distinction between physics and philosophy is pretty artificial, and that's one reason why people are doing um, physics, like David and Tim, in a philosophy department. And then I think there's also historically a lot of precedent behind this, and Aristotle was doing what we would consider now, I mean, proto-physics and proto-biology, or physics and biology.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm also not in a physics department, but I'm not in a philosophy department either. I mean, we have the center here at ASU that I'm deputy director of, which is called the Beyond Center for Fundamental Concepts in Science, and we deal with fundamental science and philosophical issues. But my department's the School of Earth and Space Exploration, and I do think it's kind of interesting that most of the people I know working on foundations of physics in some regard are not in physics departments.